Turn this down, cause baby. I was like, why is it saying that? All right. Hey, GG. Hey, Robinson. Hey, Mr. Robinson. Y'all are my first contestants. Actually, I was on here and then I had to hop back off. But we got a good one today. Just bear with me while the rest of these folks come aboard. I got my people on Twitch. I got y'all. And I got a break in like a minute and 46 seconds. So I'm going to give these folks, like I said, probably after the break. And then we'll get into today's topic, which I'll already tell you what it is so you could be thinking about it. And then I want you to hear from this young mother. But a woman, hey, Superpad, a woman goes viral for exposing mothers expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. $500 dinners aren't their jobs. But we're going to get into it because I want you to hear exactly what she is talking about. And if she has a point, you know, seeing some of these proms, I had posted it. I mean, these proms are turning into the Met Gala jail. Again, I am very thankful that I don't have any like children in this day and age. I'm a bonus mama and I don't have to worry about none of that right thought, child. Cause baby, by the time, these little high schoolers get married, child, it's going to be a full blown out ceremony. So doing too damn much, but we are going to get into it. Just give me 43 seconds. Cause I got to talk about Jaheim and his self being arrested. Yeah, child. That's another story for another day, child. But yeah. So I just want y'all to be thinking about that. And, you know, your feelings. Hey, Mr. Awesome. How are you? I don't know who's on Twitch, but welcome. Like I said, I got 27 seconds. I got to talk about Jaheim real quick. Hey, mama. And then we'll get into the topic today because I want you to hear this young queen and what she has to say. And if you agree or you disagree with what she has to say. But hold on one second. Hold on. Let me move everything. Well, this thing ain't going to act crazy, but hold on. Mm-hmm. The best Army 98.7 Kiss Titi Pocket in your middays on your hump day. Happy Wednesday to you. All right. Now put that woman first. R&B singer Jaheim arrested, child, and being charged with 7 counts of animal cruelty. Jaheim, you better put them animals first and stop playing, child. You know about these folks don't play about their fur babies. So, according to court documents, the R&B singer was arrested May 1st in Fulton County, Georgia, and charged with 6 counts of animal cruelty. He's accused of failing to provide adequate water, ventilation, and sanitary conditions for his pets. Now, Jaheim, according to reports, allegedly has 6 fur babies. So I don't know what's going on there. Jaheim was released from jail in the next day and has not commented on the situation. They're saying he faced some legal trouble in 2021 for the same charges. Jaheim, they don't play about them fur babies. So you better ask Mike Vick and how that ended for him, chill. I'm just saying. So, again, I guess, and this is all allegedly too, by the way, let me put that out there. So, unless, you know, until he says something, I guess I go to roll with what I got right here. I have more on the way. Keep it close. It's 98.7 Kiss. All right, I'm back. Hey, got you open ENT. All right. Let's do this. All right, so, yeah, Jaheim is a mess. I'm going to leave that alone. But yeah, he was arrested, but that's not what we're talking about today. But yeah, Jaheim got to do better. All right, so a woman goes viral for exposing mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. She said $500 dinners aren't their jobs. All right, and take a listen to what she had to say about this here.
Stop brainwashing your daughter to believe that these young boys they're dating who are also still in high school and also still being taken care of by their parents are responsible to make sure that your daughter experiences things that you've never exposed her to as her parent. Yeah. You've never paid $400 and $500 for her plate. You've never taken her shopping at any luxury department stores. So how is this a requirement for anybody? That's your duty as a parent to expose your child
That's
to
right.
what you want them to be exposed to. Are we using our brains anymore? In high school, the only requirement you should have as a young woman in dating should be if that young man respects himself and respects you, fill him out and see what his goals and visions are for his life. See if he comes from a good family, and most definitely see if he got a good mother. Do you know how golden it is as a young woman to date a man that has a good mother? That's golden.
She ain't
So
lying about that
mothers,
part.
there's a lot of things we can tell our daughters to have in place as a requirement when dating in high school, but food and materials shouldn't be it. That's your job. So stop trying to push it off on other people.
Okay, this mama was clearly mad. Listen, I ain't mad at this mom because looking at some of these damn proms, child, I understand her frustration. But we're talking about a woman goes viral for exposing mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. She said $500 dinners aren't their jobs. So, how are we feeling about what this mama said? Are we in agreement with what she said? You know, expecting these young men. I saw one young man who went to the prom and he pulled up with $100,000. Like, where did you get $100,000 and you in high school? Please tell me so I know so I can get it myself. But I'm just saying, $100,000. Like, I'm not trying to go into the prom thing, but this stuff is out of hand. Like, for real. Out of hand. Prom, out of hand. Out of hand. But does this mother have a point? Let's talk. This is an interactive chat. I don't do all the talking. Y'all know this. Does this mama have a point in what she's trying to say? What up, F.A.? Got you open. T said real facts. She told no lies. So this mom went viral for exposing other mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. Said $500 dinners aren't their job. Superfast said he spend that much, she gonna have some grandkids. Baby, he pulled up to the prom with that, and I want to know how he got it.
That are still in high school.
Take a listen to what this woman had to
brainwashing
say.
your daughter to believe that these young boys they're dating who are also still in high school and also still being taken care of by their parents are responsible to make sure that your daughter experiences things that you've never exposed her to as her parent. Yeah, you've never paid $400 and $500 for her plate. You've never taken her shopping at any luxury department stores. So how is this a requirement for anybody? That's your duty as a parent to expose your child to what you want them to be exposed to. Are we using our brains anymore? In high school, the only requirement you should have as a young woman in dating should be if that young man respects himself and respects you, fill him out and see what his goals and visions are for his life. See if he comes from a good family, and most definitely see if he got a good mother. Do you know how golden it is as a young woman to date a man that has a good mother?
She ain't lying
That's
about
golden.
that part. It is gold. She ain't
So
lying.
mothers, there's a lot of things we can tell our daughters to have in place as a requirement when dating in high school, but food and materials shouldn't be it. That's your job. So stop trying to push it off on other people.
Wait a minute, mama. She wasn't playing no games. She must got a son or two. Why she over here talking like this? She's sick of some of you mamas with these daughters, okay? Talk about Louis and Chanel bags in high school. Baby, work it for what you want. Mama said, that's crazy. I don't even expect that from grown men right away. Exactly. So again, and I'm not trying to go to the prom thing, but some of these damn proms, like I'm seeing, are way out of control, out of pocket. Like I said, there was one boy who pulled up to the prom with $100,000. What are you doing with $100,000 in high school? And your mama not questioning where you got that money from? I'm just saying, you know. And then I saw a girl, and no shade, the dress was beautiful, by the way. She made a dress out of all $100 bills, like, you know. And I saw one mother who spent $16,000 on a prom. Baby, what did you do? Take out a mortgage, a second mortgage on your home to finance a prom? No way in hell. No way in hell. And I wouldn't want my parents to do that. There's no way. But these proms are out of pocket. But does this mother have a point? Does this mother have a point? Does she have a point on what she's saying? Does this mother have a point? If you're just now checking in, woman goes viral for exposing mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. She said $500 dinners aren't their job, you know. And I'm just thinking like in high school, like I don't know, $500 dates should, I don't know. The focus is clearly a lot different from when I was in high school. Like she said, you know, these kids and their priorities nowadays. But this is what they see, you know, their favorite rappers or their favorite singers. So they think they got to keep up with that lifestyle. So,
that are still in high school.
Super past that, yep. You got to be my wife before Louis Vuitton is introduced. Exactly. Not even, I wouldn't even expect somebody in high school to afford a Louis Vuitton bag. Because what else are you doing on the side to afford something that expensive? You see what I'm saying? So, but I feel like she has a point. You know, I feel like the focus it's on the wrong stuff, especially in high school. You should not be worried about if this man can buy you Louis, Chanel, or if he could take you to Foco de Chao or STK. You know, like she said, that is not her child's responsibility to provide your daughter with a luxurious lifestyle. One thing I will commend my sperm donor on, Carl, is, you know, he always wanted me to get it out the mud. He always wanted me to have my own, so I never had to rely on anybody to give it to me. So, I mean, I encourage that. You know, it's good to have somebody, you know, who's a provider and does all of that. But again, I've always get it out your own so you don't have to rely on nobody. So, I mean, I understand what she's saying. But $500 dinner is like, where is they going to dinner at, child? Because that is that's a lot of coins. $500.
Daughters that are
And I'm
still
gonna play
in
it
high
back
school.
again.
Stop brainwashing your daughter to believe that these young boys they're dating who are also still in high school and also still being taken care of by their parents are responsible to make sure that your daughter experiences things that you've never exposed her to as her parent. Yeah, you've never paid $400 and $500 for her plate. You've never taken her shopping at any luxury department stores. So how is this a requirement for anybody? That's your duty as a parent to expose your child to what you want them to be exposed to. Are we using our brains anymore? In high school, the only requirement you should have as a young woman in dating should be if that young man respects himself and respects you, fill him out and see what his goals and visions are for his life. See if he comes from a good family, and most definitely see if he got a good mother. Do you know how golden it is?
As I said, women keep women, and now girls single. How, FA, come on here. How so, FA? How so, FA? You got to explain it. Hey, babe, you got to explain that, FA. How so, FA? How so, FA? I need to know. How so? Come on, I'll come back. Hold on. 1 second. Hold on. All the way for you at the top of the hour, I got your chance to check out the Steel City Smooth Jazz Fest with a 3-day pass. That's all coming up at the top of the hour for you. Here's some new Tamar Braxton. You on you. I see you, Tamar girl. It's 98.7 They Kiss, the best R&B. Yes, F.A., come on, bring yourself. Weekend, F.A. he been on me all weekend, sending me stuff about women. But come on, y'all. Let's talk about this, F.A. Hey, F.A.
What's up, baby?
I hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend.
Man, I work, but it's all good.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but yeah, it happens. It happens, F.A. All right. You made a comment. Women keep women, and now girls single. Go ahead and explain.
You know, I be. The more and more
You low today,
I,
F.A.
I
Can you
get
hear us?
older, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming in real low though.
Hold on.
Okay. I see you, Mama. I'm gonna read your comment. Um, and FA, Mama said, I agree, because who is telling these young girls this? What up, DJ? Do
Yeah, like I said, hold on. I see why the Bible said women should just keep quiet. I mean, Jesus, like
What
I'm
did you
just,
say?
I just really see like ever since the feminist movement around '60s and the '70s, I just see like Once women got in the leadership positions, our community just really plummeted, dog. Like the logic, just the logic. You know what I mean? The mothers raising these homes, being the leader of these homes, raising these homes, and I'm not saying all of them chose to be single moms or whatever, but I'm just saying them being in a leadership position produces these type of outcomes. Like, why would a little boy ever have $100,000? That sounds like he got a single mother. Like it sounds like he raised a single.
Oh, you're talking about at the prom where he showed up with $100,000 and his mama was with him.
I'm saying? Like, no man with no sense would tell his son to go outside with $100,000. You know what I'm
Unless they
saying?
want to get robbed.
Right. You know what I mean? And then you got a woman, you ain't got these young girls. It's just these are the things that just invite criminalistic activity. This is why when a young girl develops this ridiculous expectation from her hood rat mama, it only leads the little boy to go try to do it. You know, it's only one way he can do it at a young age to be able to get money. And that's something that's going to land them in jail. It's a cycle. It's crazy, man. I'm just sitting there, and I think the people who like don't understand the seriousness of the mentality that comes with this, like the outcomes that come from this mentality, is just insane, though. This is really insane. $500. I don't even like the mama's premise
You
because
didn't
I don't even
like
like
what
the
she
what.
said?
No. I did. I'm sorry. I do like what
Okay.
she was saying. It's part that I don't like, and it kind of leans to the same. I don't also like this when women say it like in an adulting world when we talk about dating, and that is, you know how women will be like, "Don't expect a man to take you to Roof Chris if you don't take yourself to Roof Chris."
Okay.
Right? You know how they always say that?
Yeah.
Or don't expect somebody to do something you can't do for yourself. That's irrelevant. What you can do for yourself, it still should not be an expectation for a first date or something like that. Like you can take yourself to $1,000 plate dinner, and you do it every day of the week. I wouldn't care if you did it every day. That should not still be an expectation that you would have for dating. Like this, even the idea of dating has been warped. When did dating not just become, let me see if I like you enough to go on another date to learn more about you. And then let me see if I like you enough to go on a third date. And let me see, you know what I mean? When did it come with, I have to eat a certain type of food for me to be in your presence? It comes from whore. It just comes from a whore mentality or that kind of that user mentality of, if it doesn't get away with it, then at least I get a meal out of it. It's kind of like the mentality I think that is based in because would it ever matter? Like I have plenty of money. You
Mm-hmm.
want to know $200? It's not I just met you.
I think
You know
your
when I
phone
would
is
do that.
kind of. I think your phone was kind of going in and out. I'm sorry.
You know the only time I'm taking a girl on a $200 first date is
When?
one or two extremes. The one extreme is I really like her and I'm really interested in her, and that's like almost never gonna happen because I don't like nobody I don't I've never met. I mean, like I don't like nobody I don't know. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And the other more likely extreme, which is 99% of the time, is I'm trying to hit. And I know that she can be bought and she's impressed by shiny things. So I will go and take her to Ruth Chris because this will impress her. And this will make the process of me getting what I ultimately want a lot faster.
Okay. Okay. I understand that logic. Hold on, Fa. I need to
Go ahead.
just introduce the topic again because I got some new folks on here. So a mother went viral for exposing other mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. She said $500 dinners aren't their jobs. And I want you to take a listen. Hold on, Fa, real quick. Don't hang up.
With teenage daughters that are still in high school. Stop brainwashing your daughter to believe that these young boys they're dating who are also still in high school and also still being taken care of by their parents are responsible to make sure that your daughter experiences things that you've never exposed her to as her parent. Yeah. You've never paid $400 and $500 for her play. You've never taken her shopping at any luxury department stores. So how is this a requirement for anybody? That's your duty as a parent to expose your child to what you want them to be exposed to. Are we using our brains anymore? In high school, the only requirement you should have as a young woman in dating should be if that young man respects himself and respects you, fill him out and see what his goals and visions are for his life. See if he comes from a good family, and most definitely see if he got a good mother. Do you know how golden it is as a young woman to date a man that has a good mother? That's golden. So mothers, there's a lot of things we can tell our daughters to have in place as a requirement when dating in high school, but food and materials shouldn't be it. That's your job. So stop trying to push it off on other people.
I agree
I
with
agree with that.
I
I agree
agree,
with that.
especially with the mama part. Do you know how golden it is for a man to have a good mama figure in their life? But go ahead, FA.
Actually,
Yeah.
I agree with you on everything you said. And and I'm not trying to make up on women, but I would actually argue today and say, make sure that she said, especially she has a good mother. I would argue, make sure if I would have been a good mother, she got to have a man. Husband.
Yes, I was getting
You
ready to say that.
got
You
to
took
have
the
a husband.
words out of my
A mother
mouth.
has to
Make
have a
sure they
husband.
have a good two-parent
There,
household. And
there you go.
I employ grown women to do that because I
Yeah.
think, that says a lot about a person when they're in a two-family household as opposed to, being raised
Mm,
by a single mama or being raised by a single daddy. It says a lot. You can
mm,
definitely tell the difference. Hey, JB. Hey, King.
100%.
Mr. Austin says she absolutely right. Prom dates should not be about rich. She's talking about dates in general. These high
Right.
school kids are out of pocket. I didn't see some of these damn prom send-offs. Okay, a mother spent $16,000
What
on
that
her
take?
daughter's prom.
Yeah,
Prom.
doesn't that sound like a single mother? I'm just being
Prom.
honest.
It prom. I mean,
Doesn't
I
that
don't.
sound like a single? I mean, what man in their right mind- I'm just telling you. You go one step further. Even the women who aren't single mothers that have a father in their house that did something like that, unless they're extremely rich, right? Unless they're extremely rich, right? Which is probably not likely. But unless they're extremely rich, it tells me that that man was raised by a single mother. Like even the man in the house, that's the father, was raised by a single mother because he ain't got no damn sense.
No, this
There's
was
no way in the
this was
world.
a mother who did this for her daughter.
You know,
FA. You still there, FA? His phone been going in and out, so he might have. FA. Trying to see if he gonna pop. Oh no, he's spinning. Epic, come back in if you can. I'm gonna jump you off though, take you off of here. I just think I don't know all of this stuff. Whew, child. $16,000. Like, what did you do? Take out a second mortgage on your home so you could pay for this? I'm not doing. None of that is going on. $16,000, baby. We got other things that we could use with that $16,000, and besides paying for a damn prom, that you only go. It's a one night only thing, child. But hey, I get it. Some of these parents, like, they only live once and they want to make sure that, these kids get what they didn't get. But that $16,000 for a prom, that's a damn wedding. Ha! You spent that's a wedding on a prom. There's no way. Hey, baby Barack. FA, if you can get back on here, that's cool. We're talking about a woman goes viral for exposing mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. $500 dinners aren't their jobs, and buying Louis bags and Chanel bags in high school ain't their jobs either. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get my first Louis or Chanel till I was grown, and I brought that. I didn't have nobody else. I brought that. Mr. Austin said these kids now these days want to be like Yes, they do. Like little mini celebrities. Let me see who, but it's all for attention. Mama said 1,600 would help with exactly 16,000 would help with college. Absolutely. Why are you spending $16,000 on a prom? That absolutely makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? Hold on, I got two people coming in hot. We coming in hot. I don't know who this is emailing me, but yeah, child. I got two people. What up, Rashad? Don't say nothing about my Knicks. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say, yeah, don't say nothing about my Knicks today. I don't got no time for no Knicks hate today, Rashad. Don't do it to your life, okay? I'm already,
I
okay?
said hello.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I'm trying to let FA back in because we were talking about a woman is going viral for exposing mothers for expecting young men to provide luxury dates and gifts for their daughters. She said $500 dinners aren't their job, and I want you to hear what she had to say about all of this.
I saw it.
Yeah, because you got sons.
I saw it.
You got sons, so
Stop brainwashing your daughter to believe that these young boys they're dating who are also still in high school and also still being taken care of by their parents are responsible to make sure that your daughter experiences things that you've never exposed her to as her parent. Yeah, you've never paid $400 and $500 for her play. You've never taken her shopping at any luxury department stores. So how is this a requirement for anybody? That's your duty as a parent to expose your child to what you want them to be exposed to. Are we using our brains anymore? In high school, the only requirement you should have as a young woman in dating should be if that young man respects himself and respects you, fill him out and see what his goals and visions are for
You
his
said that's a
life.
lie?
See if he comes from a good family, and most definitely see if he got a good mother. Do you know how golden it is as a young woman to date a man that has a good mother? That's golden. So mothers, there's a lot of things we can tell our daughters to have in place as a requirement when dating in high school, but food and materials shouldn't be it. That's your job. So stop trying to push it off on other people.
All right.
I agree totally.
You agree?
I do. I mean, at the end of the day, are we teaching our young ladies to be materialistic? Because if your attention can be bought, what about the virtues and the qualities of a person? Because after they buy you that, now they feel like they own you and you have to do whatever they want you to do.
You better say it again.
So, you know, it's the virtues that you want to look, the qualities of the person.
You better say it again.
Unfortunately, that died a long time ago.
Well, yeah, you said the same thing. And we agreed today. We're agreeing today. But Rashad, you have sons that are going to probably date one day. How do you feel about what she said?
So you have to understand one thing.
Rashad,
When it
before you get that, let me do this break real quick. Before you hold that thought. Rashad. I'm sorry. Hold that thought.
hold on, I will hold on.
What's going on with you, man? Good
Oh, you got
afternoon.
it. What'd you say?
The best out here,
I
Civic.
say
Get
good
out to
afternoon, bro. Good
pocket. And if you want
afternoon.
your chance at a 3-day
No, I
pass,
appreciate the same to you, man. Same to you.
June 5th through the 8th, text that keyword jazz, that's JAZZ, to 205-741-0987 for your chance to enter to win. It's 98.7 KISS, the best R&B. You already know what it is.
Yeah, I
All
just
right.
been out here watching these Pacers about to take it in 5. That's about all.
All right, Rashad. So what are your thoughts on that right there?
So having sons, the one thing that I'm going to make sure that I teach them is that any little girl that is more focused on what you can do for her as opposed to how you actually treat her that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because she's going to want that from everybody. There is nothing about you that makes her just want your money. She
Right.
wants money. And so if she's asking for all of that to be a prerequisite for, the prom, knowing that you ain't got no job, or if you do, understanding how much of your paycheck that's going to constitute you spending, then that means that she ain't for you.
Yeah.
But understand that also comes from a societal requirement of dysfunction. Think about it. The only people that are doing that are who?
Well, you're right, because I didn't see no YT send-offs.
And then you got to think about it. Most of the celebrations, where do you see them?
Oh, I've seen this year, baby. When I say them kids went all out this year for prom, I'm talking about a mama spent $16,000 to fund her daughter's prom.
The majority of where I see, not all, but the majority of where I see a lot of these celebrations are in the projects. They be at the stoop and everybody be around and taking all the pictures, and then they got the cash and they holding up and they talking, and that's broke people's mentality.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I might have to disagree with you on that one, man. I
Okay.
honestly think the majority of it come from the middle class or the bourgeoisie Negro. Not the,
I've only talked about what I've seen, and
yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. I think I'm saying. I think I got that same algorithm. and because the prom is just in all of our face, and just me, having friends that have kids in high school and being and growing up. I live in an all black area now. The majority of those type of lavish events are not meaning, I'm sorry, not in the, it's in the middle class. It's with blacks that got a little bit of money, not the blacks that are broke.
So, and that's interesting because,
Fiscally
those are the people.
irresponsible. I still agree that it's unnecessary and irresponsible, but I'm just challenging what's happening in the
I
in
mean,
the hood.
that's
Like,
fine. But once again, as I said, this is what I am seeing
okay,
because to your point, you're around middle class people and middle class people that are doing it. I'm around middle to upper class people and I don't see
mhm.
nobody doing that shit.
Wow.
None.
But do you live? I'm
None.
saying I'm in around all black middle class. What is your area?
Yeah. Those are the majority of the people that
Okay,
are in our
okay,
lives, right? We
okay,
we we have a very low diverse amount of individuals that we
okay.
hang
Fair enough.
around,
Fair
and
enough.
so it's all us. And I ain't see. I've seen people go to proms and get graduate. I've gone to several graduations, a lot of graduations, and these are the kids that I know. And I ain't seen no $16,000 proms. I might see a $800 prom dress. I mean, but that's just that's mild
Where this
compared
come
to some of the
from?
stuff that Didi is talking about.
Where's
Well,
all
yeah,
this
I
coming
saw a
from?
$16,000 prom. I seen a girl, and the dress was beautiful. She made her dress all out of $100 bills, and then I saw a
What?
little. Yes, her prom dress was made out of $100 bills, all of it. And then I seen a young boy pull up to the prom with his mama with $100,000. Like, where you at so I can come see you?
See?
Because where are you getting $100,000 from?
Well, and let's talk about these parents for a minute, right? Now, I don't know about the middle class folks that Hefe is around, but from the the visuals that I have seen, it looks as though the parents are trying to create a viral moment
Yeah,
for their children for bragging rights.
100%.
right.
100%.
Attention.
And
100%.
so, once again, it isn't the fact that there's responsibility, around those households because the things that they take pride in have to do with flexing, flossing. And so that's what they do. That is a part of the culture that they gravitate toward. And so it's it's wrong, but at the end of the day, it's just another part of systemic oppression, that these television execs have out in front of this demographic of people. That's all they see of black people on television. Everybody's flexing.
I'm sorry. I'm on my Donald Trump. Make proms great again because this shit is out of control.
Yeah, I get
Baby
you.
Barack said, setting them up for entitlement. And then I got a question for the both of you because Rashad, you have a daughter, and Effie, you got a daughter. Um,
Nigga.
they they said I got friends whose parents spend 6K, 7K, but not 16K. Mama, because I didn't want to go to my prom, so Mama had to force me. And Babe said he's a rapper. I know who you're talking about. Baby Barack said dress made out of $100 bills. Lucky she didn't get jacked and came home butt naked. It's a lot of YNs that is getting to the bag. And Mama said, Rashad, you've been talking mess about me all weekend, hater.
Where'd that come from?
Well, you was talking mess about my mama all weekend.
Man,
Uh,
look, I ain't got time for
Mama
Tiny
said,
Tina.
YTs do it for communion. Spanish people do it for their 15-year-old daughters. So it's not just blacks. Okay. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so those quinceañeras, they 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 do spend money, but that has been a cultural thing that has been going on for generations, right? So that has evolved into whatever it is now. And I still don't think those are as expensive as what we have started spending on proms, right? Because they get the little venue, they get the cute little dress that they get from the little flea market, might be $200. You know what I'm saying? And then all of the food they cook, and you don't see them pulling up in big lavish cars and all that other stuff. There's this. I don't think that's the same thing. But even if it
But
were,
I got one for you though, because
right?
the Jewish community, they be having them bar mitzvahs. Oh baby, we
Hmm.
go all out for them bar mitzvahs for they
Hmm.
children. Um, and they said, "Mama got a point," and hey, Pat, and he said, "Nah." So they get a pass, but not us.
Well, here's the thing. Once again, we ain't got the money for it. Some of
Hey,
us do. Some of us do.
what are we
But
talking about here? We over here trying to figure, cut it out. First of all, Lions are getting some money. I thought that comment was insane. I don't know what he talking about. Some Lions getting money. Who? Okay, getting to the bag. What 16-year-old is getting to the bag? Like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Well, he means
Legally,
they're getting coins. And some of these kids are YouTube stars and
man, that
Instagram.
is such a small percent. That's less than a half a percent. It's not even worth bringing up. It's not even worth bringing up.
uh,
Two,
they said
let's
it's
not.
just they. Go ahead,
Oh, go.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
He said it's just they organize it. I get it. And Baby Rock said they made from a different type. If we had 16K to spend on a prom, we would have skipped that whack prom and took the money and could have brought a car, baby. Because I wouldn't have spent 16K on no damn prom. But I want to ask both of you guys a question because you both have daughters. So this is gonna probably come up eventually. What kind of conversation are you going to have with your daughters in regards to dating and what they should be looking for when it comes to the young boys that they should be dating? And after seeing Forever, I don't want my child dating in high school. I'm sorry, because these little high school children is fakes.
you want to start here, FA, or me?
Well, mine would be short. I got to be Christian. I need to be first and foremost. If they not, then don't even go down that road. It's not even. It's not gonna go anywhere. Two, like you said, a good come from a good foundation.
Yes.
Make sure that they, a mother and a father. Hopefully, if not, just doesn't show the signs and attributes of a person that is, in my opinion, been corrupted with false reality since a child. You know what I mean? Like I said, moral, got a moral compass. I mean, have the same similar values, principles, and you see a future with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, y'all align in that way. You know what I mean? Not necessarily and not overly depending on how old they are, obviously, but not overly focused on how much money they have in the moment, but how where that person is going. Obviously, if they're dating. At a younger age, like, early 20s and stuff like that. My opinion might be a little bit different in the 30s, but not much different. I would say that.
Okay. Rashad?
So for all of my kids, one of the things that I'm having to learn is that everybody that they are around is either entitled or they are in the presence of people that are entitled.
Mm-hmm.
And so their desires and things like that are unrealistic. And so one of the things that I have to teach my kids is that it's okay for you to be bored, because that's the one shit that I get all the time and I get sick of it.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And here's the thing, as a kid, you are not always supposed to be entertained.
Right.
That's not what childhood is about. Childhood is about you understanding that there's a place that you should want to go, and we are teaching you what it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything that's in this society that keeps that dopamine going in their minds is detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to who I am going to pray that they gravitate toward, I am hoping that the lessons that I teach about being able to just sit down and still learn how to entertain yourself, hopefully they will be able to find people that have similar traits and characteristics, because you got to be able to enjoy yourself when you're broke. It's
Hello.
easy to enjoy yourself when you got money. That's easy. Nobody needs to learn how to enjoy yourself when you got money.
Because the sky is the limit.
You know
Look,
what
when
I
you got money,
want
go ahead.
you know what I wanted to add to? One, I want to make sure I'm going to teach my daughter that there, there's a difference between a father and a potential husband,
Mm.
and the expectations are not the same. So all of the things that I do for you are not a 100% expectation for your husband. He has a different role than I do. That's one. Now some things cross. Don't get me wrong, but then some things don't. That's it's the difference between a daddy and your man. I just want to be clear. Your daddy, it may do things for you as his daughter that he wouldn't do for his own wife, or I'm not gonna say his own wife, but he wouldn't do when he's courting a woman to potentially become his wife. That's
Yeah.
Right.
one. And two, I think that, and this is that's as black men, we need to do much better. Is we need to teach our daughters. We need to stop preparing our daughters how to be the wives that we want,
Mm.
and stop teaching them in too much independence. Like, you know what I mean? We kind of teach them some of the same thing, or maybe unconsciously teach them and prepare them to be without the need of a man, just like how the women keep how women keep saying that and how we don't like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think as fathers, especially the daughters, unfortunately, the red black daughters that actually have their father that live in the house with them and they can actually, press into them a lot, consistently. We need to teach them to prepare them to be better wives. I think we need to do that. And I think me and my brothers, my friends, we actually talk about that. Like we actually talk about how we tell our daughters and kind of instill certain things in them that will prepare them to be a desirable wife to a man one day in the future, and not
Mm.
just this independent. We need to stop raising women that we don't want to be with either. How about that?
Oh, but
Yeah.
what are those things you telling? What are you like? What are you saying to her?
Well, my daughter's 10, so it's a little early right
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right now, it is a lot of like, to be honest with you, a lot of domesticated stuff. Like, you need to always keep your room clean. Cleanliness is very important for a young girl. You need to do this. I'm teaching her the differences between boys and girls, right?
Mm.
And teaching her that life is not about right and what's fair. Because a woman, even grown women, you hear it today. Well, why can a man do it and a woman can't? It's just like a childish mentality. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we're different. There are things as a woman that you don't need to be focused on if a man can do it or not. That ain't your job. Your job is that you need to be focused on you doing this or not being able to do that. So just, teach her how to keep a house, you know what I mean, clean, time management, the importance of certain things, and obviously as she gets older, we start to, drizzle in more and more. Right now, boys and stuff are not really relevant, you know what I mean, in her life, you know what I mean? So I don't,
Right.
it's kind of like as she grows, you add a little more.
You're right. You have a point because my father, my sperm donor, Carl, his name
Mhm.
is, um, he always instilled, and I said this before, for me to get it out the mud. He never
Mhm.
wanted me to be dependent on a man. So he's like, I do for you because I don't want you to ever have to rely on a man. I want
I
you
know, it's so
all.
toxic.
Yeah. So
So, but
that's what I was taught. But thank God for Mama because Mama, no, Mama, I love you. Not trying to say anything is wrong with you being domesticated. I saw that from my mom. My mom cooked, she cleaned, she held down the household. She held down, she
Beautiful,
took care of them bills. So I had that part. So I saw that, and I saw that from her and my grandmother. So
beautiful.
thank
so
God for them.
I think there are two types of messages that come from independence. There's a healthy message and there's an unhealthy message,
Yeah,
right? The message of do for yourself so you ain't got to worry about no other man. That is an unhealthy message.
That's not what
I think the
you're going to
message,
teach your daughter.
no, the message that I'm going to teach is that I am going to teach you how to do these things so that you get to choose
Mm.
who you want to be with.
Mm.
And you won't be in a position to where everybody that comes your way you're competing with, because
Mm.
that's the issue with independence. Independence turns everything unhealthy independence turns everything into a competition. And when you start saying, and I'll be transparent, I had to face that shit with my wife about that shit. What are you talking
Whoa.
about? I'm
So
not.
she would be like, I can do it. I got this. I don't need you.
Well, yeah, I mean, certain elements and things that we would
I got
discuss
you.
is like, well, why you got to do? I can go do this, and I can. And I'm just like, that's so. I've had to. I don't want to say deprogram, but I've had to
That's the right
work.
word.
Nope, it's not. Not when you married. That's the right word before you married. So, but I've had to
Deprogram.
work with her
That's the wrong word.
on evolving her understanding,
Yeah.
right? And so my point is, you still have to teach that element of independence, because let's be honest, white women, they don't have that element of independence. And so when their husbands leave them, they have nothing.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do nothing. They don't know how to, take care of nothing. Yeah, they got the domestic elements of it, but of course, there's much more to life than that, right? So the white women are taught to be dependent, and that comes with, that cooking and cleaning and all that other stuff, and let the man take care of everything else. Well, that's not the message that I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach, understand that you.
Hold on, Rashad. Let me do this burger real quick. It's going to be real quick. I promise you. Gemini. I hate Geminis. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, going back to what I said. Going back to what you were saying.
The point that I was just saying is that I am going to teach you and ensure that you have all of the traits that make women desirable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also going to make sure that you have the traits that if you are not in a relationship, you are not going to break down. You're still going to be successful. You're still going to be great at whatever it is that you do. And you get to choose who you decide to align yourself with, right? And because of the fact that you have those skill sets, he's going to understand the value that you bring.
Amen.
Because you're not going to be combative. You're not going to be competing. You are going to add to, right? And so that's just my take on it.
All right, I want to read some comments, and then there's something that happened over the weekend, and I'm not going, but it was something that happened over the weekend that I want to talk about. Babe said everyone got their ways. I don't think everyone teaches the same, and what you do with your child is what you do. Simple. Pat said I'm with you, Rashad. And Pat, you must be a Gemini. Sorry. Geminis, that's another story for another day. And Mama said, keeping a house clean is not just a woman's job. Teach your son to cook and clean as well. She does have a point.
100%.
Yeah, she has
100%.
So
Primarily.
I went home for the weekend, and I always find it very peculiar when I hear men, because home for me, my second home is Atlanta. When I hear men in Atlanta complain about the women in Atlanta, you follow me where I'm going. But I understand because Atlanta is Black Hollywood, and
they lazy as fuck.
God,
Say it.
I wasn't
Say
going
it.
there. I wasn't trying to
Say
say
it.
they were lazy, but
They expect everything, but don't give anything.
hold on. But I feel like this person's problem is he only goes after women who want him for his money, but he leads with money. And you can't lead with money when it comes to dating. Because I feel like if you're leading with money, like, hey, let me take you over here to Roof Chris or STK, then that is why, the woman is going to want to stick around. Like FA would say, some of the women in Atlanta can be brought. Never disputed that, FA. So I'm with you with that.
Yeah.
But I would encourage fellas, please do not lead with your money, especially if that's not what you're after. You a chick who wants you for your money.
So you got to remember something. When it comes to fishing, the type of fish that you catch is dependent on the type of bait that you use. And so if you are using money as your bait,
Yes.
you are going to secure a certain type of fish. And if that is not the fish that you want, you got to stop using that
And
bait.
then this is a single man, and then he wonders why he can't find a woman. And then he gets these women that only like him for what he can do for them. But I'm like,
I ain't got
you're
no sympathy for no empathy for no damn man. I mean, how many times you got to fall to realize you need to stop doing that? I mean, men should be a lot of stuff men don't learn self taught. I mean, all through the guidance of other men, but at the end of the day, how many women did you? How many women do you got to go through that only want you for your money to realize that maybe you should change your approach? I mean, if you can't figure that
exactly,
out, then you're just an idiot.
exactly.
Well,
I want you to keep
okay.
getting
So
played. That's
having
moving
said that,
forward. Secondly,
Hefe, one thing you got to realize is that everyone is not around sensible minded people. And so if
I agree.
everyone around you is into the exact same toxic traits,
Yeah,
it may be more challenging for you to think outside of the box like you're speaking about. And so
I
I
agree.
realized I had to stop judging folks because they don't know better. And just because I know better doesn't mean everybody else understands the world the same way that
I'm
I
the
understand the world.
it, some of them don't. Okay, it's always a percentage of everything, right? So,
Sure.
sure enough, right? Sure enough, you know what I mean. I don't know. I just don't have. People think I'm tough on women. I got even less patience for men when it comes
So
to
okay,
certain
so let me
things.
ask you this
But
question. So what do you feel about athletes that continue to be with white
Woo!
women?
well, I don't agree with interracial dating. When a person is black, I don't really care about nobody else's race. I mean, I
All
don't
right.
care what other races do, but I don't think that black should marry outside of black. But
Okay.
so
And
I've never been
so
in agreement with that or okay with it.
yeah, and so my thing is I'm definitely not I'm definitely Dr. Umar on that. The greatest contribution that you can the greatest contribution that you can make to the African American community is to bring black children into this world. And
Agreed.
I don't care how much you give, I don't care how much you marching or whatever. If you're not bringing black kids into this world, you are not,
Yeah,
continuing. You are not investing,
and
you know,
us,
uh,
and
to
us,
the fullest
absolutely.
extent. To the fullest extent. And
Let me read some of these comments. Pat said June 5th. Happy birthday, Pat. Babe said true. And he said, how your approach is how you lead. What up, Easy Cuts? Baby Barack said facts, mama, because I can burn, baby, burn like a disco inferno. And then
you
Mama
need
said
to
Atlanta woman.
you need to take a shot for that, brother.
And then Mama said Atlanta women are the most entitled women there are. And Mama said to keep it real, he's chasing young women and is a mature man. So yes, he is a man of a particular age. He's probably a little somewhat older than us, Rashad. I'm not sure how old you are, Hefe, but somewhat older than us. And he does like to date.
36,
Yeah.
36,
And he wonders, what'd you say, Fa?
36. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, you are younger than me and Rashad. Um, and then he wondered why he's getting the same result, why he can't find a relationship. Because I was telling Mama, like, well, if he keeps leading with money, that's always going to be the end result. He's always going to get these women that, okay, they're cool at first because you're whining, you're dining them, you're taking them on trips. And then when you want to scale back, they like, you was doing all this before. You was paying for my hair, my nails, my makeup. Now what's the problem? And then that's when they don't want to mess with you no more. So I'm with Hefe. I don't have no sympathy for any men like
Empathy,
that, because
empathy, empathy.
empathy
Mm-hmm.
for any men like that, because I feel like you bring it on yourself when you leave with the money.
100%. And at the end of the day, I mean, but this is the outcome when you don't date when you date for when you date for like and lust, not morals
Yeah.
and principles.
And
When you date women because you like them, or when women date men because they like them or how they look and all that, when it's not based in the problem is, in our community, 100%, we have not been taught what to like.
Mm.
We are attracted to the most everything that is not good for a long term sustainable relationship. That's what we hold to the top of our value list. It's funny because every you the girls I hear with a lot of women, they be like, "Oh, he changed." They don't say that like after a month or two, he changed. They be like, "Man, that man ain't changed. That man been the same way from day one. You just was ignoring it because you
Ah,
liked or lusted for the other things that were shiny or appealing."
you gave
That
a
these y'all give
point.
niggas too much credit. We ain't smart. These dudes are not that clever. I promise you. You just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're blinded by your own desires. You enjoy the nice car. You enjoy the fun dates. You enjoy the dinners. You enjoy the Instagram posts, whatever. You do not actually enjoy going through the process of learning his character, looking past the shiny things. You're just attracted to shiny things, and the outcome is always going to be that. Just for that, even that guy, he doesn't even have a lot of what would you call confidence in himself or self worth because if he's constantly selling what he has or as far as training himself based on money, then only in it. I mean, everybody knows if you portray money, you're gonna people that are looking for money ought to be the ones that are attracted to it.
Exactly.
I mean, this is very simple.
Exactly. Babe said, elaborate, please. What you want us to elaborate on? He said they like that ish low key. And Baby Rock said, I do take shots for that brother Rashad. They're called back shots. Women love a man that can cook.
Wait a minute.
Hold on,
Wait, you say you
hold on,
take
whoa,
back
whoa,
shots?
whoa, whoa,
Wait
whoa,
a minute.
whoa, whoa.
What is happening? Oh no! Don't be jumping off. Don't be jumping out the closet while I'm on the screen, brother. I don't
Women,
look.
not men. And
Women love a man.
Mama said he's
That
a
was a
good guy
typo.
though.
Man, all I know is I do take shots. They're called back
Oh
shots.
God.
That
That was
sounds
a
like you
typo.
taking back shots.
And Mama
Look,
said you shouldn't have to change who you are because people are who they are.
Say that again.
Mama said you
I
shouldn't have
think you.
to change who you are because people are who they are.
I think most people should. I don't know what context she's talking about, but I think that most people need to change who they are.
Why? Why?
I think most people foundation is not good. That's why I think they need to change. I think a lot of our men and women can't get along or get with each other because they've both been poisoned and for different reasons on each side to change. I think women need to get out of this idea of this. Oh, these are my standards, and twist that into like some type of reasonable expectation. I think that we need to get out of thinking whatever you think you should have in the world should not a standard. So
Next card.
we need to switch what desires and standards are. Okay, a desire and a standard should be something based in a moral compass, in a desire. It
Okay.
should be
so
based in morality.
all right.
You're the
Wife
devil's
and I
advocate.
are huh?
Hey, Kathleen. Hey, girl. Are you gonna play
Oh.
devil's advocate on that?
Well, no. I'm just gonna add something to it that that it's a hard pill to swallow, right? My wife and I we're gonna be having our intro call tonight. We are gonna be doing some couples counseling
Uh-oh.
for our church for a little while.
Are
Um,
you counseling other, or you guys are getting couples counseling? And hold that thought, because I gotta hold on,
Hey,
because I gotta talk about
side question. Hey, was you on the? Well, let her finish.
he married now. Coming up in 7 minutes, Travis Hunter jumps the broom. Ha! We'll
oh
do
my
that
God,
on 98.7 Kids.
Goofy.
this
Uh,
nigga,
I
Hey,
this
know.
is
Rashad,
the
side question.
silliest nigga in the world. Did you see that nigga didn't make us sign a
Yeah, that was.
prenup?
Yeah,
Oh
he's a
yeah,
fool.
yeah,
It's been like that. Hey,
yeah.
was you on the live with us when I was talking to Dee about marriage and why I proposed and her
I don't think
I
you were.
guess her setback on it, her view on it. I would be curious to hear your perspective. First of all,
Uh-oh.
I heard, I heard you say for your church. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. Are you a Trinitarian, by the way?
Um,
That's a private question.
I
Never mind. We
don't
talk
even
about
know what that is.
it. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, that's just a fancy word of believing in the triune God, but that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Uh, um, do you is your understanding of marriage based in your religious belief?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
mean, it's the
okay,
husband, the wife, and God.
cool, straight. Would you be married? Do you understand? Do you understand when I say this to you? What does this mean to you when I say that? Oh, if I wasn't a Christian, I would never get married. I'm only actually getting married because I am a Christian. Do you understand what that means?
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and that's a part of what I was going to say. The the challenge that we face in today's society is that everyone is looking for marriage to make them happy,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that is the biggest lie that's been
Well,
sold to our culture.
to our
But once
women.
again, no, I mean, the men as well. I mean, men have selfish desires when it comes to being married as well.
Oh, I
And
want to
they
hear
expect,
these. I want
I
to hear
mean,
these.
women are not the
Love
only
Mary
ones with
too.
expectations.
No, I ain't talking about expectation. It's a difference between expectation and a selfish desire. I think that I don't know any men, honestly, that are even worth bringing up. But my understanding of most men have a realistic expectation of marriage. Now, it's always going to be certain things that maybe need to be tweaked and stuff like that. I'm not saying obviously every guy, but I don't know guys that go into marriage that is with the understanding that it's supposed to make them happy. Like I'm getting married to because this is going to make me.
Well, okay, so let's understand the
Most men go
definition
into it
of,
looking at it like it's a
Thank you,
responsibility, meaning like I
Counselor.
have a newfound
Yes, for
responsibility
following.
almost. I mean that at least that's you can again. Look, I don't want to paint with a paintbrush because you can give me a different perspective, but most guys I know into marriage. The reason why they hesitate so
your
much to
phone
go
is
into marriage
going in and out, bruh.
It
I
is.
can barely hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Hefe. Uh-oh. He might have hopped off. But I want
is it
to,
better?
yeah. Hefe.
Maybe.
I was just saying that
Okay.
most guys I know are very hesitant to go into marriage because they know it's not about happiness. It's like a newfound responsibility. Like they
Ooh.
got a new responsibility they got to fulfill, and that's one of the
There
reasons
you
why they
go. That's where I was
hesitate to
headed.
go into it. So,
That's where I was headed. So, to your point, if it were not for the religious aspect of it, most men would not get married because they understand that there is an element of selfishness that you must give up.
100%. Yep.
And I will say this, I am not a selfish person. And so there is a possibility that with or without God, I possibly would still be married
Okay.
because of the fact that I also understand that it is hard to build if you are not tethered to someone in a certain type of way that you can't be when you're out doing everything with everybody. There's only one person that I believe that I can put all of my trust into when it comes to how I want to build
Yeah.
and who I want to build with. So if you take God out of it, I look at it from a building position and almost like a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to find the right partner. And if you are not tethered together in that union, then you don't get everything that is brought to the table because there's always going to be a thought of, well, shoot, why should I give you 100% when we're not committed? And so, specifically for me, in my opinion, I believe with or without the religious element that marriage can still be beneficial. The issue is that most people are so selfish that they are unwilling to die to themselves and to understand that it is now your role to ensure that you're meeting the needs of the other person. If you believe that your job is to meet the needs of her, And she believes that her job is to meet the needs of you. That is the unselfish union that thrives beyond most. Not to say you're happy, but
And I want to
to
add.
understand.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to add to what you said because Two Chainz just recently was on a Club Shay Shay, and he said exactly what you said.
Who
The
said
reason why
that?
Two Chainz, why he's been married to his wife so long. He said, I'm not gonna go get loyalty and love in these streets nowhere else. He said that woman has been down with me from day one, loyal and love. He said that is the reason why. He said I stay in. Go ahead.
I
Now,
wish they
watch
made
this.
women like that.
You said you would
What'd
what?
you say?
I wish those type of women were standard.
Yeah, no, I get it. But here's the thing: you also got to realize that there are women out there, but a lot of those women have been
Yeah.
burnt to the point where it's more difficult for a man to get to that level with her, and most men give up before they actually get to the soft center, and that is the
As they
challenge that
should,
we face.
as they should. And I'm saying that with a little bit of, I'm being a little facetious, but the point is, just like a woman would scream, I shouldn't have to, deal with yada yada. I want a man. What they say? I want a man that's they want a finished product, essentially. You know what I mean? They want a person that's already gone through the phases and yada yada yada. And just like men that have built themselves up, desire the women to that are done the work as well, that went through their trauma. I mean, I'm sorry, that went through therapy or whatever, the healing process, some of their traumatic experiences where they don't have to fight through a hardened shell to get to the soft center either. You see what I
But
mean?
let's be honest, though, both of those thoughts are almost unrealistic.
I
Yeah.
no, I agree. I actually agree with you. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate. I like to talk like a woman so they can hear it. But just in a man's perspective. Like when a woman say, "Oh no, I want a man that's this," and then they'll then expect empathy or they'll clap for Rashad when he say, "Yeah, a lot of us been burnt, and now that's why we're hardened, and it takes and a man got to go through all of that to get to our soft shell."
I
I'm like,
clapped
oh,
I
you
did
don't even
because
have
Rashad
that.
was on point.
Right, but they don't have that same grace for the man. That's why I be
Look,
looking at it, I
you
be like,
here's the deal. You're 100% correct on that. But Dee Dee would
Grace,
tell
hold
you,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. What grace do you want?
no, the understanding that the plot of a lot of us black folk had made us endure certain things that made us a certain kind of way that may not have been particularly desirable when you first meet us. But as you get, through, I guess, you investing in us or maybe being patient with us, that you'll find out that we are solid in the inside once you work through our traumas.
Why do you hold on? Because let me do this work about Travis Hunter. Because I need to know why you feel like men have not been given the same grace as women. Hold on. The best R&B 98.7 because Titi Pocket in your middays on your hump day. Happy Wednesday to you. This week is coasting, I guess, because we had the 3-day weekend. But he did it. He jumped the broom, Travis Hunter. And he had a lot of folks talking over the weekend. He married his longtime girlfriend and gifted her with a G-Wagon for a wedding present. But it wasn't that folks was talking about. It was the fact that he did not even sign a prenup. And if you look very closely on one of the videos where they're showing their rings, it looks like Miss Thing is pregnant. So yeah, this will be interesting. So a lot of folks are saying, "Oh, he gonna learn." In my Kevin Hart voice, he gonna learn today. So we'll see how that wedding, or not wedding, we'll see how that marriage plays out. All right, more on the way. It's 98.7 Kiss, the best R&B. I can't really get into it like I want to because I'm due middays. But anyway, I asked you a question. Who I asked that question to? Was it you, FA? FA.
Hefe, go ahead.
FA, what did I just ask you? Because you know my mind.
you were asking
Uh,
about
Oh,
the
yeah.
grace.
Why do
Grace.
you feel like men
Yeah,
are not afforded the same grace as you? And then mama said a lot of these older men want younger girls with no experience.
yeah,
We talked
that's
about
how you prefer
that.
them. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I feel. I would say I think, and I think, um, because that is what women say. You know what I mean? I'm just going what they say every time I hear them talk. They kind of say the same things. I mean, I'm not even saying that. like in an insultful way. I'm saying like a lot of women say the same things. I have a good idea of how they think and what they want, and most, especially when they get to a certain age, their grace actually decreases. You know what I mean? Meaning like their expectation is higher, and their grace decreases. Meaning like
As
their
far as when it
patience.
comes to dating,
Yeah,
dating you guys.
yeah, dating guys.
Okay. Why do you feel like that though?
I don't feel like it. I see it. The results say it. The results. There's a lot of singles. There's a lot of Let me ask you this: if for all the women that's 35 and older, for all the black women that's 35 and older, what would you argue? What would you say would be their reason for being single?
Okay.
What would you think they would? The number one answer would be.
Maybe they don't want to be in a
No,
relationship.
no, no, no. I ain't say
No, no.
what they want. I said, what do you think the number one answer would be for all of the single black women over 35? What do you think the number one common answer would be?
What, they can't find a man?
Or what? Ain't no good men. Or it will always be something that had nothing to do with them. I can promise you that. It will
Okay.
have nothing to do with them. It will always be on the guy.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Women not taking accountability and not thinking that they're the problem. There are some women that are the problem.
Or
I'm not gonna sit here.
part of the problem, at least.
There are some women that are the problem. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it goes hand in hand. You get.
See, now, so all right, so watch this. So just listening to what y'all was saying, this goes back to my point. We can't stop competing.
Yeah.
We
Well.
can't stop competing. Watch this. This whole Travis Hunter situation. This is going to be terrible for our culture. You know why? Because the women are going to be cheering, and the men are going to be pissed, and they're going to be mad at the women for cheering.
Oh, there.
And then
It is already
100%.
happening. Yeah,
And
that's
so
right.
so my point is, once again, we are too stuck with a dysfunctional culture that continues to keep us in competition. That is the root of all of this. Everything that y'all talk about when y'all on here talking about men this and women this, it comes from a competitive element. And until we figure out a way to let that shit go,
Yeah,
I
women
gotta
are just.
disagree with you, Young. I gotta disagree with you on
please
I think the
advise me, sir.
I promise
God.
competitiveness to me. I don't think men are being competitive. See, I think
You
they
don't
you
okay,
think
okay, but
okay
before you move forward, you said you don't think men are being competitive.
in this
How
scenario,
many times have you had to stop the conversations
right?
because women have been giving grace just so you can flip it and say, well, let me put it back on the women?
Yeah.
How many
Right.
times
Okay. Good.
does that happen?
A couple times, right? And
A
and
couple.
and, I, and
Come on,
a,
Hefe.
a couple
Come
or
on,
a
Hefe. It's
lot,
been more than
whatever,
a couple.
whichever one is. I thought that was a whole lot. How about that? I'm cool with that.
And
And the reason why
that's the only point that I'm making.
but I'm, but the comp, like,
You
to say
don't
it's
see that
being competitive.
as being competitive?
Well, for you to know it to be competitive, you have to know my motive, right? And my motive for doing what I do wasn't in the competitive nature. It was me trying. My belief, honestly, is the best way to teach some people is to show them the hypocrisy in them. So sometimes me just saying, "Hey, this is wrong, and you shouldn't think that," they may not receive that. But if I'm speaking in a language that they can understand, I say, "Hey, when you see how you just said X, Y, and Z, you see how that is exactly the opposite when you expect that from a man, and you see how that's not right. That is not my motive. Is not to compete. My motive is to try to get them to see the hypocrisy in what they're saying, so maybe their opinions may change. See, my
Fair enough.
foundation, my belief, my foundation, my fundamental belief is there is a right and a wrong in every situation. Like someone
Yep.
is right and someone is wrong. So
Okay.
I agree with you when you said, man, Travis Hunter, all the men are going to be mad at the women. The women are cheering and all the men are going to be mad at the women for cheering. I agree with that 100%. But this is the problem. This is the issue that I have. You made it like it is a competition where, because both of them have opposing views. My opinion is although they have an opposing view, one of them are wrong.
Right.
And I am
So
saying that the women are wrong for celebrating
Oh,
this because,
bad, bad.
and I'm
No,
gonna
no.
tell you
wait, wait,
why,
wait, wait, wait,
and
wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna tell you
wait,
why
Diddy.
because they're man. Because if it,
Wait a minute,
I
Diddy.
know, watch
Wait a
your
minute.
hypocrisy. Because if it was your
Wait a minute.
son, you would not want your son to marry a woman without a prenup. And I don't need the lies or anything like that. I know most women would not want that for their own son. So I know there's a hypocrisy in that. So, and you
Okay.
know that deep down inside, that's not right. But you're celebrating because it benefits you. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
So you'll celebrate and you'll advocate for toxic or wrong behavior when it benefits you. But if it's your son, it'll become different. Oh
But
no,
All
you
he
right.
can't do that.
All
That's
right.
can't
not
be.
Wait,
wise.
wait, wait, Diddy. Wait, Diddy. Wait,
I
Diddy.
can't be
Wait,
mad
Diddy.
at her.
Wait, Diddy. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Diddy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. All right. Have faith.
Yes, sir.
I heard everything you said.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For you to say someone has to be right and someone has to be
In
wrong
most cases.
is the issue that prevents healing. There is a saying out there that says you can be right or you can be happy, but you cannot be both. And so when you talk about your
Mm,
intent, you're
mm.
focused more on proving your point than you are on identifying what needs to be done to reconcile. You don't give a fuck about reconciling.
No,
You're
you're
saying,
right.
I am going to tell you why you are wrong, and you're going to have to understand.
Yes,
My
absolutely.
my the point that I was making, I hear you saying your intent is not to compete, but you have to think about how your message is being received. Didi was just about ready to jump in and go right back into it because of how you provided the message. And I said it before,
You
and
know
it
what?
still stands today. That is all competitiveness, regardless if
I
you see it or not.
don't
It
think it's true.
is because that keeps the dialogue going back and forth. There is no reconciliation in what you're doing.
I don't
There's
think
absolutely
because
none.
I agree that it may keep the dialogue back and forth. I agree that some of the things I say may fall on deaf ears, right? Through their emotions not being able to hear it. I agree with all of that, right? I don't agree with it being competitive just because it turns out to a back and
That
forth. You know what I mean? I
what
still doesn't believe that my
wait.
position
But to your
is
point,
competitive. But
it
my position is more of
what's the
Harriet
definition of
Tubman.
competitive?
That's when two
Then how
people
do you define
compete and
competitive?
both are when two people compete
When two people are
or two
trying
things.
to get their point of view across,
But I
you're
think that you
competing.
can't. I think that's the wrong word when something is right. You know what I mean? Like
No, no, no,
I'm
no.
not competing you
Regardless,
that the sun
only
is
one
hot.
person can win a tennis match. Only one
No,
person can win.
it's
But
right.
the ball is going to continue to go back and forth until the one person wins.
No,
Yes
I'm
or
not
no?
going to keep going back and forth. That's the difference. So that's the okay. You're right. This is where I'm not competing because I'm not going to keep going back and forth. I'm like Harriet Tubman. You're not going to be able to say. You're not going to save all of them. There are going to be some people. There are some women that can receive the message. And then there are going to be some that don't. And the ones that don't, that's not my fight. That could be your fight. You could talk to them in a way that they may be able to receive it better. And that's fair enough. I'm not claiming to be that guy. I'm that guy where there are going to be some that get it and maybe a lot that don't. And the ones that don't, unfortunately, we're going to leave you behind. I definitely
So,
believe that we can't save them all.
But how
so
are
my
you
question,
blame on women? I'm confused. How are you trying to blame women for cheering? That was his stupid ass decision.
No, no,
It
well,
wasn't
that
you.
doesn't mean I'm blaming them for cheering.
But
I'm
how
blaming them
are
for
you mad at
cheering.
women for cheering? And he made the decision.
Because right and wrong is
You
both
need to
decisions
be
in me.
mad at him. Don't be
No, no,
mad at the women. He
I
is
am,
the one that decided to marry her after everything that happened. Nobody
I
put a
don't,
gun to his head. Nobody forced him to do it. He wanted it. He even
I'm
gifted
not,
this hoe with a G-Wagon. So that's on that man. You can't be mad at
I'm not,
women for cheering. If
yes.
anything, women are happy because guess what? She got over on the dumbass nigga.
See
Here's
what I'm
my
saying?
letter. Hold on.
See, that's not morality. See,
Congratulations are
I
in
can't
order to
condone
Cass.
that.
She welcomed her third child with her husband, Alex Fine. So congratulations. They have fun. It's
this is the
9872.
And guess what?
competition.
It's no
And life will
competition.
teach
But you
him.
cannot be mad at women for cheering because, you need to be mad at him.
Hold on.
Travis Hunt,
I want to be
he's
clear.
the one that jumped the room. He's the one that married her.
Hold on. Okay. So I want to be clear. I shouldn't be mad. So I should not be mad at women for cheering something that is immoral. So should I
Why is
also
that
teach?
immoral? He
You just,
made
you
the
just said it. You
FA.
just said that they're cheering because a woman got over on him. Isn't that what you just said?
That's just
So
that
here's the deal.
foolishness.
Hefe,
That is getting
Hefe,
over
Hefe,
on
Hefe,
somebody is not moral, man.
Hefe. Here's the deal. You have to dig into the why they're cheering. You are stuck on the fact that they are cheering. Dig into the why.
The,
Why do you think women are cheering?
the, the reason why women are
And it
cheering
might not be what
is
you think
is
they cheering
because
for,
they
FA.
are
They might be
selfish.
cheering because this man is so dumb and blind. Like, look at you, you dummy.
Exactly. No. I think that Didi. Okay, Didi. I agree. I think you just think that I am not mad with him because I'm
No, you
not
need to
mad
be. You
with
need to
women.
be.
I'm not. Let me tell you. No. I am a little bit, but I'm not mad because my patience for men are different than women. Remember, I just told you that earlier. Remember, you just said you think I'm hard on women. I'm even harder
You
on
did.
men. I don't have no empathy for him because guess what? The nigga, they tried to tell him 100 times over and over not to do this. Deion Sanders, everybody, every rap star, Bow Wow, this was a big thing just a year ago. Everybody was telling this man to get a prenup. This man still didn't get a prenup. I'm not gonna be mad at him because life gonna show him. See, when men walk, the difference between women and men, most men don't get bailed out of their bad decisions. See what I'm saying? Like once a man makes a bad decision, he pays for them. See what I'm saying? See, we view it differently because women tend to get a lot more second and third and fourth chances in life because men tend to sympathize with y'all and do for y'all and the government and society and just so on and so forth. We'll help y'all out. But men turn out homeless when they make bad decisions. Women go to shelters. See, it's a difference. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to be mad at him because life is going to show him. I'm just saying, me being mad at him doesn't make a difference. Life is going to
So
punish him
you
for
rather
his bad
mad
decision.
at the females that are rooting
I'm
for
not
this girl.
necessarily mad. I'm mad at the mentality. I'm mad that she is celebrating something that is not moral. If
Okay,
men,
but once
if it was the
again,
other way around, I would be
what?
too.
Let's get
I would
back
be mad
to
at
the
the men
why. Why are they cheering?
because they know that. You know why? Because they're celebrating that they got an insurance policy on their happiness.
Nobody
So
actually is
they have an
celebrating that,
insurance policy.
FA.
They have an
Nobody's
insurance.
celebrating that because, first of all, nobody really even liked that girl.
No,
All that stuff that girl
no.
bringing,
What is the prenup?
nobody
Why
for
are you
real likes her.
celebrating a prenup? Why are you smiling? Why are you cheering about not having a prenup?
Who's cheering about
Okay,
that?
so
Exactly.
Nobody's
what?
Why are
cheering
you
So what is
cheering
about
your?
about
that.
not having a
I
prenup?
can't even really say what I want to say on that radio. He's a damn fool for not getting a
We
prenup.
all
Even
agree. We all
I
agree.
would have suggested, boy, you better go and get
We
that
know
prenup.
that. We all agree he's a fool. We get that. Why are the women cheering that
But
he's a
why does
fool?
it affect you that they're
Wait,
cheering?
wait, wait, wait. Hold on, Didi. Hold on 1 second. Why do you think they're cheering?
I, I,
Hefe, I'm going to
I
continue to
doubt
ask that.
because they got an insurance policy on their happiness. So what
Okay.
does that
Woo!
mean? A
Would
financial
would you
insurance
would you
women.
would you like to would you like to hear why I think the women
Go
are
ahead.
cheering?
I
I,
want to hear
I,
this. And then
Yeah,
we're
I
going to
do.
final thoughts. Let's do final
Once I say
Okay.
this, the insurance policy on their happiness just means that I get to be with him as long as I'm happy, and then once I'm no longer happy, I get to have money when I leave. I get to be able to live this rich lifestyle when I leave. Once I'm no longer happy, and I can get with a man that can then make me happy all over again, I'll leave with half of his money. So that's what the insurance policy on her happiness means. Go ahead.
So I don't believe that the women are happy that she has an insurance policy. I don't think that's the root. I think the root of why women are happy is because for the majority of these women out here, they have had their lives in their minds ruined by a man out here, and they have been done unfairly to some degree, and they were never able to either get him back, or they don't believe that they were ever in a position to where they felt as though things were made right. And so the reason why I believe a lot of women are cheering for her is because what has been done wrong to them in their lives. You say that women get 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 different chances to bounce back. Yes, that's 100% true. But the one thing that I will tell you about men is that a nothing ass dude will ruin 10 years of a woman's
Mm.
life and not even think twice. That don't
Okay.
happen to men. That don't happen to men at all. And
Oh,
so for
I
every
100% disagree with
you
that, but go ahead.
disagree with you wait. So you saying that
I
there are
think one,
men out there that
sure.
are in unhappy relationships trying to please a woman for 10 years and then she leaves?
No,
I don't know no
no.
stories like that.
No. Well, first of all, I know a lot of men that are in unhappy marriages that don't leave because, but
So, but
that's a side note.
that's
And but
another
what I was, that's not what
story.
I was. But I agree. That's not actually what I was saying. I was saying I disagree that where you said that a woman could have a bad experience with a man and it ruins 10 years of their life and so on and so forth. Right? Okay, I agree with that. And you said, but that doesn't happen to men. And I said, oh, on the contrary, women when they
Hold
play
on one second.
men. They often create a beast, a
Hold on, Hefe.
heartless.
Hold on, Hefe. The West Side Wellness Expo is going down Saturday, June 14th. This event is absolutely free and open to the public. You can get all the deets right now at 987kiss.com. Go ahead, Hefe.
Yeah,
And then final
so
thoughts. We're going to wrap this up.
they create they often create they often create womanizers. They create heartless men, and they create users. That's usually, I'm not gonna say all the time, but I'm just saying a lot of times when men get played, they do become what I call, you know how we say when a woman get played, we call them, oh, she's a
Yeah.
bitter bee,
Yeah.
a bitter woman. Oh, there are a lot of bitter dudes.
Yeah.
Because when niggas get played, they become bitter dudes too. It just looks different.
Yeah.
It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like tattoos like MOB. You know what I mean? When they say money over bees and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that is a sign of a man that has been hurt by a woman.
That's been hurt 100%. But let's dig deeper, right? We got to go back. Why do women hurt dudes? Normally, women hurt dudes because they have already been hurt. If you're trying to compare
God.
the ratio of men getting hurt by women and women getting hurt by men, it doesn't compare,
Right.
dude. It
Women
does
are
not
shitting on niggas.
compare
You right. Women are
because it
shitting on
starts
niggas.
younger with men. Men start that at a younger age. Women don't start off like that.
Yeah.
Men do. And so
That is
to the point that you're making is I hear that, but it's not at the same ratio, dude.
that
And a
is
lot of these hurt women
that
that
is
are hurting
dangerous.
dudes, huh?
That is dangerously wrong. Oh my
What's
God.
dangerously wrong?
You think that you think that men are women, you just said that, first of all humans are sinners. So to say that women are not innately, women that hurt people is just foolish. But two, I would
What?
argue you are, you're saying that women don't start off that way, meaning like they are not people who hurt people's feelings initially.
Bruh.
They all, you're saying even the majority of women start off not hurting people's feelings. They were hurt, and then in result of them being hurt, they start hurting people. I adamantly disagree with that.
Why do
Secondly,
you disagree with that?
because we're both human, and how we have been programmed is how we act, and to say
But
that
you
women and men or women, I just disagree with that. I just think that's wrong. And two, I think that women, I think that it is dangerously wrong when you think that men are not being hurt by women at a young, when I say hurt, I mean just their feelings being hurt. You know what I
sure.
mean? Just being denied,
Yeah.
just being told no, just
Yeah.
not being called ugly, not being into, like, men deal with, let me just know, the average man deals with a million more no's than the woman deals with no's, okay? The average guy gets told no from a woman unimaginably amount more than a woman gets told no from a man. Let's make that very
So
clear. And you're talking about the top 10% of men, and 90% of men walk around this world not a ladies' man, and don't have a large abundance or access to women like that. Now that women are for sale online, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? But in general, no, I'm just saying, like OnlyFans and all that type of stuff. Like a lot of that stuff opened up women, like guys who would normally not have this access to this type of woman. Now they can buy it. But the point is, the average guy does not go outside and get a lot of attention from women. Not only do not get attention, they get a lot of no's. The average guy get told no way more than they ever get told yes. Now the handsome guy and the guy that got money gets told a lot of yeses, but most 100% most men get told no. Regular, way more than women get told no. That's crazy.
Okay, so okay, let's say that, right? Let's say that. So all of these unattractive women that are getting told yes at a
Yes.
young age, are you telling me that they are not getting used and abused and trains ran on them and all of this other
I,
stuff and passed
I,
around?
I ain't gonna go as far as training, but I agree with your I agree with your premise. Yes, they get used too. Yes,
Well,
I agree with
so
your
once
premise.
again, so you have to think about it. There's a difference between an unattractive young man being told no and an unattractive young woman being told yes by everybody and being passed around.
Yeah, but I was just arguing. You're making a new point now.
No,
I'm
it's the
just
same
arguing the point.
point. It's the same point. The point that I made is that women, they run into this pain and this hurt younger than men
That's
do.
because
And that's one of the
uh,
reasons,
uh,
man. I had a
you think
I had
no
a
is not hurtful. You think no is not. You don't think
that's
when
not the
men get
same
kicked.
type of hurt, bro.
I
That's
don't
not the
go.
same type of hurt.
I
No is
would disagree
acceptable.
with that. I
No,
would.
no,
I don't
no
think
is
not
acceptable.
for a
You're
young boy.
supposed to be able to hear no.
No boy. You got to be trained up to develop that. Most young boys
But,
feel hurt as pain by no, just like the
but that's
woman.
a problem. That's not the woman's problem. That's the
And it ain't
man's
about who
problem.
problem. And it ain't my problem. It ain't the man's problem that the woman got ran through. It's not about who problem it is. I'm
What?
just saying that it's not my problem. It's not the man's problem that the woman gets ran through because she gets told yes. Like that's. It's not
And
about who
then, and
problem it is.
remember, we're not talking about the dude that's being told no. That is the problem of the men that are running through her. Yes, that is.
We're not. No, I'm measuring the effects of no. You're saying that you're equating the woman receiving a yes. I'm sorry. I'm equating and you're acknowledging that the woman receiving a yes is as detrimental to the men who get the word no. The
I'm no,
ugly woman
I
that
didn't
gets
say that.
yes. No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, and what I'm saying is those are two completely different things. You're telling me that because an unattractive man is unable to get a woman, that gives him the right to go and do whatever and be whatever when he gets older.
I never said gave him the right. I said that's how bitter men are created. Just
Okay,
like how bitter bees are
but but but
created.
but remember when you were talking about bitter men, you were saying that bitter men do all of these things to women because they're bitter, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay,
Well,
but
how did they become
women
bitter?
didn't create those bitter
Yes,
men.
they did. They got bitter because of the
So
women.
wait. So you saying wait. You're saying that because a woman is telling these dudes no,
Yes.
it is the woman's
It's not,
fault that he is bitter?
it's not about fault. Nobody said
You
fault. I said, how did he
that's what we were
become
just talking
bitter?
about.
No, it's not about fault. It's about cause. What caused him to be bitter? Not a matter of fault. I didn't. Is the woman's fault that the niggas keep saying yes and running through her? No, it's
Well, no,
not
that's the
about
nigga.
fault.
That's that. Once again, that's the nigga's fault. Yes, because women at that age, they are sometimes trusting more
And
than they
men are
should be.
too, and young boys are too. What are you talking about?
No, see, you're doing it again. There's that competition. You're doing that again.
No,
That has. We're
you're
talking
making
about dudes
women
being
innate.
told no.
I think
Dudes being
that
told no has nothing to do with women that are being ran through at the age of 13 in the bathroom by popular dudes that are just trying to get some stories. Those are two completely different things.
I think we passing each other because I think there has been a miscommunication. I mean, a misunderstanding in somewhere because you're arguing points that I'm not arguing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not arguing some of the points you're making. You start, and no disrespect, but you start talking like with the fair and right stuff. I wasn't. That's like women talk. Like when they say whose fault, who's fair,
Okay.
is it right? I'm not saying it ain't about emotion. It's not about right and wrong. I was just telling you the cause and the
We're
outcome,
gonna
like the
have to
cause
do a
of it
part
and the
two,
outcome
y'all,
of
because
it.
I gotta go.
Not
We'll do a part
Yeah,
two.
we're
yeah,
gonna
for
We'll
do
sure,
do a part
part
two.
two
for
tomorrow.
sure. And I
Fair
say
But
that
enough.
you guys
respect,
brought
and
up
I say that respectfully, Rashad. I hope
I
you know
got
that.
you. I got,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
got
you
you.
brought up a
I
very
got you.
interesting thing, and tomorrow my topic is a woman is suing her ex-husband for wasting her time. This is an actual story. So you brought up an interesting thing, and I just want to leave this on a final thought. Fa, ain't nobody cheering for that girl that Travis Hunter married. I promise you, at least not in my circle. not cheering for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
There are women cheering by the listen. There are women cheering by the millions. Would you agree? And I know we got to go, but wouldn't you agree that most women,
I'm gonna say
if you
this,
ask,
FA, because I don't see it. I saw that she had to get off social media because women were attacking her for what she was doing to that young
no,
boy.
that's
So I don't see that.
different. Yeah, I agree. But that's something that yes, I agree with that. They
So
were
I don't
attacking her.
see them
That's not. But
going
we're not
ahead
talking
and
about that.
all of a sudden disagreeing with her and then coming back on the back end and like, yeah, girl, you did it. You made him sign without a prenup. I don't see that. But again, I could be
Okay.
wrong. But we will
Okay.
do part 2 tomorrow with you guys. Just remember this because I might not remember. But we'll do it again. 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. Love y'all for y'all. I gotta go.
All
Peace.
right. Love. Love.
Hold on, let me get off this other thing, Jay.